let's just set ground rules. That way we don't hear bitching and whining later. Okay. Ground rule number one is it's a little different than the regular class. I might be a little harsher on you here. Those things are more serious. So sometimes I have to make sure the stuff sinks in through your brain. It's a contact class. That doesn't mean we're going to have to hit you hard, but we're going to hit you. That's the nature of the class. So, since you're going to hit and be hit, it's a pretty simple concept. Though, I say that, and yet it doesn't always work out that way. Which is, if you're doing a drill and your partner hits you and you're not comfortable with it, you say to them, I'm not comfortable with that. The other token of that, though, is if you say that and they keep hitting you, feel free to hit them back. Which also means that if your partner said something to you, and you keep doing it, and they start hitting you hard, don't complain. Don't come to me and say, they were hitting me hard. You were hitting them hard. We're doing things different than we do in the basic class. When we do glove drills, that's working the technique. It's not how we're blocking, right? When I have you do a basic class, you go jab into the left and cross into the right. That's not blocking, that's working the punches. Because the punch doesn't get near you. So another thing also is, right? We work real range. That doesn't mean we have to hit each other. In fact, like I said, please, probably at the beginning it's embarrassing. But he wants to throw a jab that if I just stood here, he would touch me. Should be the worst thing that's happening. He goes jab, he goes cross. Right? But I don't want to be here with him going jab and cross. If you were doing that in the street, don't worry about it. You don't need to block that. That's too far away. If somebody was crazy swinging their arms across the street, you would not run across the street to block their punch. We work real range. That doesn't mean we have to hit each other. In fact, like I said, please, probably at the beginning it's embarrassing. But he wants to throw a jab that if I just stood here, he would touch me. Should be the worst thing that's happening. He goes jab, he goes cross. I'm parrying is the term that we use. Parry the punch. Which means I am moving the punch out of the way of my face. He is reaching for me. I am not catching the punch. I am parrying is the term that we use. Parry the punch. Which means I am moving the punch out of the way of my face. So when he comes with his left, my right hand comes. Elbow down so that it is a pillar perpendicular to the floor. That way I get the most amount of surface area as it sweeps across my face. From the outside to the inside. I can think about my palm touching his wrist, or I can think about my forearm touching his wrist. They are both correct. So if he comes with the right hand, my left hand comes. Palm, wrist, forearm. They're all okay. I don't need to make a big motion out of this. Like I'm a cat scratching my nose. Not like I'm frantically swimming. Less is more. I just need to move it enough that it goes from here to here, so that if it kept going forward, it would go past me. I'm not trying to stop it. He can be really strong and keep punching into my face. But if I move it, I don't care about that. In fact, later you'll find out that's the best thing that you could possibly have to do. Because he missed you and you're close. When the cross comes, the same thing. I just want to move it away from my nose, from my face, so it goes over my shoulder. If you feel the glove rubbing your ear, it's not the most pleasant experience, I admit, but it's actually pretty good, because one, obviously, you're not getting punched in the nose or the face, right? And you know that they're pretty close. So, we do a very simple drill. I go left, straight, I go right, straight. He goes left, straight, right, straight. That's all we're doing. Notice, I'm not trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Who is this man? Remember something I say in basic class all the time, right? Don't punch from your shoulders. punch from your nose forward. If you were looking at your basic class, I go, if you're looking at your reflection, from your nose to the reflection's nose. Now you have a real nose. So don't punch like this. It's not realistic and it doesn't give him anything to block. I am actually reaching from my nose to his nose. Again, I didn't kill you, right? But that gives him something to move. Now, when he comes, notice I'm sweeping it across. I am not like wax on, wax off, right? I'm not, doing windmill stuff. I am pushing from one side to the other side. We're not doing the same side that we do when we catch punches. When he did left, I did right. When he did right, I did left. I didn't get a chance to mention this, but if he went jab and I went left, when the second punch comes right over my shoulder and hits me. When I do this, see, he's got to reach over his own hand to hit me. Jab, and I go across. Again, think like we do in the basic class. It's a touch, but I'm going to do it a little bit more like a technique. I'm going to come up, and again, I'm hooking, but you see, I'm not doing what I've shown you, right? I said like in basic classes, well, hooking can hurt, but we're not going to do that. But I'm not going to just touch. I'm going to actually do the elbow up and hitting with the front of the glove. Now again, I can have palm toward me or palm down, right? But I'm actually going to do the actual technique. I'm not going to just touch. Maybe if I come over here, right? So again, we're still doing it like a touch, but we're doing the actual technique. Jab, cross. So I pick up. I'm not going to just do the touch like we do in a basic class. I'm going to come up and I'm going to hit with the front of the glove to the side. But whether it's palm down or palm facing me, that's up to you. And again, I'm not going hard. I mean, I can go hard. I can go boom, boom, boom. But let's not do that, right? Right, that's the technique. That's the correct blocking. But I'm not killing him. He goes jab, cross. Now, the one thing with this, as we start doing it more and more like a technique, as you raise, lean into it a little bit. You see how I'm leaning into it a little bit? I'm not doing this and waiting for it to come, because then I'm going to get knocked off balance. I go 1, 2. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Lean it. The phones are in. Okay? Also remember, every drill has two sides, meaning that it's not just the defense part, but when I'm going jab, cross, hook, I'm doing like 9, 10, 15 minutes of this in a class. If I'm going sloppy and wrong, I'm training myself to do it sloppy and wrong. So every punch should go out and come back, go out and come back, go out and come back. In other words, it's not important that it's fast. If it's fast and it's wrong, it's twice as bad. This was a shield. If I didn't mention that, I'm sorry. I've got like 10,000 things running around in my head right now. But this was parry, shield. This is literally just covering your head. Sometimes you feel like it, even when you lean into it, it still feels a little uncomfortable. So there's another thing we do. It's called an insert. It's kind of an intersect. So what you learn, if you look at your forearm with your thumb up, there's the thumb up line, which is a bone, and then there's the pinky line, which is a bone. They call it the two blades, because when he's coming toward me, I'm thinking about like I'm chopping into him. Now luckily your gloves have a little bit of coverage here, because if I was doing that into his bare wrist over and over again, he'd tell you that sucks. See, I'm not doing this waiting for it to hit me. I'm intercepting it, meaning I'm going toward it. The other thing that makes this work is that he's like building up for the punch. So he's intercepting it before it finishes its motion, meaning it has a little less power. The other thing about it is like when he shields, right? He's kind of like squashed, he's kind of crowded. When he intercepts, he's kind of pushing it out and he's creating a lot of space here. All right, so another term you'll hear me use is leak. If you have a leak in your ceiling, the water's going to come in. If you have a leak in your attack, the counterattack is going to come in. So we'll get there in a second. I don't want to do the counterattacks until we cover the basic blocks. But what I'm trying to do is not just intercept his punch, but create a lot of space here. I keep this hand up because I don't know what he's going to do with that. Jab, cross, hook, and you see his palm will end up facing me. So another thing you'll see is sometimes I'm looking at the mirror like it's my compact in my hand, and sometimes I'm showing in the mirror. So when I'm doing this, I'm going here. Look at yourself. 1, 2, 3. Okay, nice. I teach you when you punch, right? Punch, come back, touch your head. Punch, come back, touch your head. Hook, come back, touch your head, right? You've probably heard this in the basic class because I say it all the time. I say don't swim, right? Or the reason we do this drill is so you don't get used to doing this. So when you're blocking, it shouldn't be swimming. It's the same thing. Whether I'm blocking or I'm hitting, right? Whether I'm blocking or I'm hitting, my hands have to stay up. Get used to this. Trust me, just touching your head will not make you bald like me, I promise. All right? But you got to have your hands up. And I carry, and I insert. If you want to feel it, I will let you feel it, but you probably don't want to feel it. The blade hitting your arm. It hurts. That's the point of the insert. Why? Because if every time you go to hit me, it hurts, guess what your mind tells you to do? Don't hit him. So again, don't be like, I don't know if you can see, I'm trying to hit his glove. Even through the glove. Elbow down. But it's not, block makes it sound different than it really is. It's like an attack. It's like I'm attacking your attack. Jab and I parry it. He goes cross and he swings a hook at me and I step away. Now again, in boxing, they may tell you to do this because you'll miss. Right? It works in boxing. But we have these things called legs. Right? And if I slip that way, there's no way for me to get my legs out of the way. And also, if we do Sanda, Chinese martial art, which has grappling, and certainly in the street grappling can happen, and they go to grab your legs, you're going to end up on your back. So what I want to do instead, head, shoulders, hips, straight on. He jabs, I jab, he parries, cross, and when I throw the hook at him, he steps away. So, parry, slip away. Not slip away, step away. Parry, backstep. Parry, backstep. Okay? 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 Round kicks. First round kick we do is the pivot. Oh, now it feels weird. Use your bare foot. So, we pivot on the ball of the foot. I don't want to be flat-footed, because remember, the whole idea is to get my hip and my shoulder to turn. Right? So, and I'm targeting the middle of his foot. So, he pivots. Okay. So what I want you to do this. Do the first one. You pivot. Your shoulder is the defense. So if I went, let's say his hands was a little low. Let's say his hand was there. I should be able to take my right hand, and if I try to touch his face, I shouldn't be able to do it because he's leaning back, his chin is down, and his shoulder is forward. So even if I'm trying to touch his chin. Okay? you can literally just work this. If I'm turned correctly, now, there's that famous bit, if you look it up on the internet, like most beginners, you've attacked me incorrectly. So he comes round kick, now you do a rear hook. Didn't go straight. That's why you have this hand, called your left hand. My right shoulder is protecting my chin, my other hand is protecting the side. That's why I say don't drop both hands. If you drop both hands, this is the pivot round kick. Shoulder for the straight punch, rear hand kick, like I'm on the phone. Okay? So you can literally do a drill like this. He's going to touch my leg. I can go straight. I can go around. Okay? You don't have to be mean about it. I'm not being mean. I'm just trying to touch him. I'm just trying to touch him. And he's going to just try to touch me. He's not going to be able to do it, whether he comes straight with the right or he comes around with the right. Because I have this hand, my shoulder, and my head is back. The other reason to do this, though, is to learn to kick with the top of your shin, not at an angle. If you kick like this, and I just said to somebody, right, I hate this because when I watch the UFC and I watch MMA, where you got guys that are not well trained in stand-up, they're kicking people in the legs like this. And half the time they get punched in the face. And the other half of the time is when he picks up the block, they shatter the legs. Because if you're hitting with the inside of your leg instead of the top of your leg, snap. Right? The thing is, they say, get a ruler, right? Like a little ruler. If you try to bend it, the thin side, you can't bend the thin side. Try to bend the flat side, it'll snap. If he's kicking me correctly, see, he's hitting with the top of his shin. If he's coming around wrong, and I'm hard here, can you see it? Not only that, if you know anything about acupuncture, the inside bottom 3 inches near your ankle is called the blood channel. That happens to be a place where you have poor circulation because it's close to the ground. Gravity hurts the circulation. It's a particularly tender area. If you've ever gone to an acupuncturist and they put needles in there, it's one of the most painful places to get needles in. So if you hit that against something hard like a knee or an elbow, you're going to have a bad day. This is not what I want, just to stand here and take it. Okay, so one of the things I can do is as it comes in, step in a little bit. Okay, so one of the things I can do is as it comes in, step in a little bit. Now when I step in though, this is forward, not forward. I am going to the 45-degree angle. Yes. So you're going to learn to hear me say about 10 million times in addition to left, right, left, right. It is like standing at the foot of a giant V. I am going to the 45-degree angle. Yes. So you're going to learn to hear me say about 10 million times in addition to left, right, left, right. It is like standing at the foot of a giant V. If he comes, I step in. It kind of cramps it. It's the same thing as when we intersect the hook, I'm intercepting the kick. Comes, you can pick up your leg. But notice something. I'm not picking up here in front of me. I am opening. So again, basic stuff we do at the beginning of class, right? Has everybody done this maybe once or twice or 10,000 times?
Us.
Right? Because if I just pick it up and he kicks, he's just in here. He's got shin guards, he doesn't want to do it. When he goes to kick me, see what I do? Well, he's just going real low because he's actually not trying to kick me because he knows what I'm going to do to him. If he came around, I'm trying to get him as much with my knee as possible. 2, I pick up, and again, my foot is on that V, right? It's not here in the middle. It's on the V. And then finally he goes to kick me. Does that look familiar? Step back. So the 3 are step, pick up but open, step back.